At 5:30, Lake Oroville full for the first time in more than a decade. Tonight, it's less than a foot from the top.
Lake Oroville, home to the tallest dam in the United States, has been in an intense 3-year drought. However, in a surprising turn of events, the lake has now risen to an astonishing 100% of its capacity. But amidst the joy, questions arise. Is the drought truly over, or are there lingering concerns? What are the factors that led to this momentous achievement, and the impact it has on the region's water supply? Also in this video, we are going to look back at the previous crisis at Oroville Dam in 2017 and show you how it has shaped discussions about the dam's stability today. So make sure you watch this video till the end to grab all the details. The most recent event of Lake Oroville is one that defies all expectations. The Oroville Dam, located on the Feather River in Northern California, plays a crucial role in providing water supply, hydroelectric power, and flood control to the region. Despite years of intense drought, the lake has recently been declared to have reached 100% capacity after a series of atmospheric river storms in January and February. This boosted the Sierra Nevada snowpack and the state's drought-stricken reservoirs in ways no one could have imagined. The event is regarded as a breakthrough, as it is the first time Lake Oroville has reached 100% capacity since 2017. Since December 1, 2022, the water level of the lake has remarkably risen by over 240 feet, thanks to a tremendous influx of 2.5 million acre-feet of water from a series of powerful winter storms and melting deep snowpack. Adding to this, on the 11th of this month, the lake reached an astonishing height of 899 feet, leaving scientists in awe of the sheer volume of water it contained. Currently, the water level is at 900 feet for the emergency spillway, with just a foot remaining before the water spills over. Although a spillover hasn't happened yet, officials admit the possibility of water splashing over the OG weir of the spillway on windy days. Just recently, about 13,000 CFS of water was released, opening 4 out of the 8 spillway gates. However, water seems to be flowing into the lake as quickly as they are released, with the released water enough to fill up 30,000 backyard swimming pools every hour. However, while this is happening, residents seem to take advantage of the moment, as a long-lost opportunity has now been recovered. An aerial view of the lake displays boats with residents cruising on the full reservoir. However, the influx of water into Lake Oroville does come with its own set of costs and challenges. The water seems to have submerged the connecting bridge to the tiny island in the region, but residents seem to be okay with this. There also seems to be an absence of a beach, but this does not stop residents from welcoming the abundant flow. This reaction is not unexpected, as the last time the lake was seen at full capacity in springtime was in 2012. On top of that, the lake had only reached full capacity twice in 15 years, making this a phenomenal event as Drone 13 captured the full picture. However, Lake Oroville is not the only reservoir going through the insurgence of so much water this season. It seems to be a state event, as other lakes in California share the same story. A good example is the Bullard's Bar Reservoir in California on the North Yuba River. The reservoir's spillway is no longer running, but the reservoir itself seems to be about to top off with overflowing water. In addition to Lake Oroville, other reservoirs in California are also experiencing a significant surge in water this season. Lake Shasta, for example, has reached an impressive 97% capacity, with its water storage tripling since December. Similarly, Folsom Lake currently stands at 94% capacity, while Don Pedro and the New Melones are at 80% capacity. But what does the recent history of Lake Oroville, as well as California as a whole, look like? Merely a year ago, about 60% of the state of California was in extreme drought. This was an extension of a long period of drought already in play in the region, causing a great depletion in both surface and groundwater. In September 2021, Lake Oroville reached its lowest point, plummeting approximately 628.6 feet below its normal level and holding just 24% of its total capacity. This left a great expanse of dry lake beds, drastically impacting boating activities in the area. Over 125 houseboats had to be pulled out from the water which were left to dry up in a parking lot. During these times, with the exception of 2019, the region had been one to beg for rain, creating so many concerns for everyone, including scientists. Other than Lake Oroville, other reservoirs were also impacted by the drought. In 2021, Lake Shasta had hit 38% of its capacity, causing California to inform its customers of the danger and asking them to prepare for extremely limited water supply conditions as they projected a future water shortage. According to the Director of Water Resources, Carla Nemeth, California was in the dawn of a new era because of climate change, and people needed to adapt. Sadly, out of the 60% of the country facing drought, about 12% was in the highest tier. The Edward Hyatt power plant, which could power over 800,000 homes at full capacity, was also impacted. State officials had to shut down this hydroelectric power plant for the first time since its operation in 1967. This was, sadly, a generator of 13% of the state's electricity as of 2018. Fortunately, California's dry situation was suddenly halted in 2022 by immense precipitation, enough to get things back to order. In 2023, California experienced an enduring and transformative rainy season. For the first time since 2006, the state's 29 public water agencies are capable of fulfilling 100% of requested water supplies, thanks to the abundant rainfall. The rising water levels at Lake Oroville offer much-needed respite after the previous year's severe drought, heralding a positive shift in California's water availability. But is the drought really over? Undeniably, the recent rains and snowfall in California are a sign that the state's water supply is improving. However, officials warn that California is still in a drought and that water conservation measures must continue. But how can the drought continue with so much water on the ground? According to the authorities, though, the region's surface water has immensely improved recently. The groundwater of the region is still greatly depleted from the long drought. It would take a series of subsequent wet years for the drought to be dispelled. However, the precipitation period seems to be coming to an end. The satellite view offers a clearer picture of the scenery, showing that most of the snow is already gone. Also, looking at the east of Oroville towards the higher countries above the watershed shows that the snow is clearly gone, except for higher elevations such as Feather Falls, which is still flowing but doing so more slowly. According to John Yarbrough, while speaking with the news station KCRA, the inflow peaked in April and has been coming down ever since. Most of the snow has melted already, with just 14 inches left of snow in the higher elevation. But is the dam healthy enough for the bountiful water at its current disposal? This question may be a concern for those who know about the 2017 past crisis of the Oroville Dam. The Oroville Dam incident, also known as the Oroville Dam Crisis, occurred in February 2017. The crisis began when heavy rainfall caused significant inflows into Lake Oroville, the reservoir formed by the dam. The dam's main spillway, a concrete channel to release excess water, developed a large crater-like hole due to erosion on February 7, 2017. As a result, dam operators reduced the water release to prevent further damage to the structure. With more rain in the forecast, the dam's emergency spillway, an auxiliary structure designed to handle overflow, was utilized for the first time on February 11th. However, within hours, the emergency spillway also began to erode, leading to concerns over a potential uncontrolled release of water. The authorities had to order the evacuation of over 180,000 residents downstream, as there was a risk of catastrophic flooding. To prevent the emergency spillway from failing completely, crews initiated controlled releases from the damaged main spillway, exacerbating the erosion problem. Efforts were also made to reinforce the emergency spillway with rocks and concrete to stabilize the situation. However, the water level in the reservoir gradually decreased, reducing the immediate threat of failure. While repairs and upgrades were made to the damaged spillways, the incident is still one that cannot be forgotten, alongside concerns for the strength of the spillway. However, the current state of the new spillway is not one to be concerned about. This is because the new spillway with its 8 gates has a capacity of upward wells up to about 150,000 CFS. So far, there is no threat to the spillway, which still stands strong despite all. The authorities also seem to control the situation as they ramp up water release. In accordance with this, Tracy Pettit-Polimas, a supervising engineer for the Department of Water Resources State Water Project Operations Control Office, stated in an email that the agency increased the outflow from Oroville in recent months, but started to ramp down on Tuesday. There is no potential for flood risk, according to Pettit-Polimas. Again, thanks to the cool and wet spring, the flood disaster has not been so difficult to curtail because the snow melted slowly. In the last 120 days, there has been a ramp-up of an outflow of about 36,000 CFS, which is only a fraction of the spillway's upwelling capacity. Subscribe to Beyond Discovery and see you in the next episode.